Good morning, Kansas City. Welcome to Uncanceled on KCMO Talk Radio. I'm Kevin Kietzman, your host for the next hour. Leading you up to the Vince Show, we got a nice one today. We're going to get into a little football on the broadcast today. Lee Sterling has been with us for a couple of weeks from Paramount Sports. We're going to talk some NFL. Did everybody know that, like, Dolphins fans don't want Tyreek Hill to ever play again as he's in more legal trouble? In addition to his injury that's knocked him out for the year, Lee is based out of Miami. We'll talk some NFL with Lee Sterling in the year of parity as we Chiefs fans are panicking because they're 2-3. They're only a game out of first place, and it's clearly a league of parity. Everybody's got a loss already. This is going to be an ugly NFL season. The game has changed. The game has literally changed in the last few years. That's why we're seeing Patrick Mahomes run the ball more. The Chiefs are the last to the party to let their quarterback kind of unleash him and do it. We had a called touchdown play for Patrick Mahomes the other night. That's the way the game is played. A couple teams still aren't doing it because they don't have the capable quarterbacks for that. One of those is Detroit coming in here on Sunday night, not a mobile quarterback at all. So we're going to talk about the parity in the NFL and how that's probably a good thing for the Chiefs right now, the way they have started the season. At the end of the broadcast, me and Mark's big, giant 2 soda pop wager has gone to a 5th game. You were already counting your winnings yesterday, were you not?
No, I was excited that they were ahead 3-0 starting the bottom of the 5th inning, and then things just unraveled.
Detroit scored 9 straight runs in that game and won it 9-3. Who knows? It's baseball. I think the baseball postseason is mostly unpredictable. The Yankees are out, so we're all happy.
I love that.
We all love that the Yankees are out. Coming up in the next segment, we'll talk a little bit about Kay Barnes. Does anybody in Kansas City really know her family history? And is all this true, what I've read? I'll have to ask her because I've worked with her many, many years ago on getting Sprint Center built. She gets a lot of credit as mayor of Kansas City. Well, she was the last really impactful, great mayor of Kansas City, I think. That's the best way to say. That's the best way to say it. She's the reason downtown is what it is today. It's because of Kay Barnes, and she's got about a month or so here as interim county executive. She is so related to so many famous people in politics, you can't even believe it. It's nuts. But we start today with you and I taking a bow. That's right. Every single American today, no matter what your background is, no matter your financial situation, no matter anything about who and what you are, we can all take a bow for peace in the Middle East. Now, I'll call it peace for now. I've lived long enough to know that you can have peace accords, they get broken, and that I'll give you my opinion. I think the Islamic jihadists, okay, that have a life goal to kill all Jews and change every religion on the planet to theirs, I think those people are an insanely difficult problem for the rest of the world to understand and deal with, and it will never be over. They raise radicals. They foster that type of thinking. Some of it's coming to America. We saw an unbelievable Hamas gathering in New York City before the peace deal was done. They had a rally here a couple days ago, and I guess this is just okay. This is what America is. Death to the Jews. Rallies, and it doesn't get any news, doesn't get reported, whatever. I don't think Jewish people hold rallies that say death to the Muslims. This is not an equal fight. Okay, what the feelings are of these people, the radicals, the radical Muslims, is nasty. So I love that we have peace. And I think even if like J.D. Vance or Marco Rubio is the next president, we'll have peace through that. I don't think they're going to mess with Republicans. They don't care. They've hated these people for thousands of years. Okay? They'll wait it out. They give their 7-year-old sons guns and knives and teach them how to kill and slaughter Jews. It's what they do. The radicals. So as long as they're doing that, even though there's peaceful times, they sleep well at night knowing the next generation of jihadists is going to come along and they'll raise hell once again. So I don't think there's any permanent peace in the Middle East. But as we live as human beings in America in 2025, this is the best we can do. We have a president that has 8 peace accords in 8 months. He's the best president of our lifetime. It's not close. He is a Mount Rushmore type president. He is changing not just America for the better. He is changing the presidency forever. He has raised the bar for every other person that comes behind him. He was asked yesterday at his little summit that they had for Antifa, and it was amazing to hear some of these reporters, what they deal with covering Antifa. He was then asked for a bunch of questions, and they said, well, what about the military next week? Are they going to get paid on payday if the government is shut down? And he said, no, the military will get taken care of. We'll always take care of the military. So then they went on to, well, what about like the IRS and some other agencies? It's only a week away. And Trump stopped and said, this is literally what he said. Do you know what 1 week is for me? It's an eternity. And he is so right. So many stories happened in the last 24 hours, you cannot count them all. It's ridiculous how many things have happened in the last 24 hours. The big headline, of course, is peace in Gaza. And we've got 8 peace accords in 8 months. And the reason I say we take a bow is if you ask Trump, and he was asked by Sean Hannity on Fox News last night, what was the key to this deal? And he said, listen, Israel was on board. We've got Qatar and Egypt and Turkey and all these countries were in. And my negotiating team is rock star. Rubio's amazing. Witkoff, they're all unbelievable people. This is great. Trump gets to take the bow. Everybody says he earns the Nobel Peace Prize for this. And if they don't give it to him, then there should never be another Nobel Peace Prize. He's already earned that with 8 peace accords in 8 months. And then he got into what some people would say is into the weeds, but is the real reason why it happened. It happened because of tariffs. Tariffs that Democrats hate. Mayor Lucas even mentioned this with Pete Mundo earlier today. He said, I don't like tariffs, but if there's a silver lining, well, there's more than a silver lining. There's a golden lining. The end game golden lining is we could return to being the country that tariffs others, and we don't have to pay income tax because we were that country a little over 100 years ago. We did tariffs, and people who earned a living didn't pay tax for working. You are literally taxed in this country for owning something, and you are taxed in this country for working. It's insanity. The Democrats' next trap they're going to fall into, the quicksand, is the running around of we can't have tariffs. Trump said in no uncertain terms, the reason this deal is done between Israel and Hamas is because of the tariffs. So what Trump did was he went to all these other countries and said, if you don't help, if you don't talk to them, if you don't work with them, if you don't say you're going to help rebuild Gaza, if you're not in on this, and that, we're going to tariff the living daylights out of you. And these countries said, yes, sir, Mr. President, we're in. We're on board with you. Because it's not as simple as saying the U.S. military is mighty and we dropped missiles on a target the size of a dime in Iran to blow up their nuclear facility. Those things are all great. The terrorists don't care about that. They're like, well, no one missile is going to get us all. Yes, they've got might, but they can't get us all. That's their belief. Trump took out ISIS. It was gone. It reconstituted under Biden. That's how this stuff works. What it needs is it needs other actors, other countries in the region on board saying, we're not taking this anymore. We want to live in a civilized world. We want a peaceful world with prosperity where our citizens can become someday as rich as Americans. So when I say take a bow, understand this. The United States economic might was more important in this deal than our military might. There are still skeptics that say, well, Trump's never going to send his troops in. Trump's not going to do this, not going to do that, that he's a peaceful president. He's clearly a peaceful president that doesn't want to fight anybody. I don't know that he's an isolationist, but maybe. And maybe that's not the worst thing for us. We don't need to be involved in all these wars. But if this president, through making deals and the strength of our economy, and yes, the strength of what you spend every day and what I spend every day, we make the world go round. The United States makes the world go round because while we may not individually think of ourselves as wealthy, this country is insanely wealthy. We are all wealthy. Our lower standards of living are wealthy in other countries. If you've ever had an Amazon package show up at your door, you're one of the wealthiest humans on earth. If you literally sit on a smart device in your air conditioning, order something you don't need to your door, you have helped solve the war between Israel and Hamas. You've done it because a lot of that junk delivered to your door is coming from these other countries, and they are hooked on us. They are hooked on us worse than a drug dealer, drug addict, homeless dude living under a bridge that's shooting up with needles every day. They can't not sell crap to us in the United States because we have disposable income. We are more than willing to waste money. We never worry about eventually being poor. We have safety nets built into what we do that even if we do blow it in our lives and go broke, when you're 62, they're going to send you a check every month from the government. You're always going to be okay. There's always going to be some place to live. They're always going to take you to a hospital if you get sick. We know this as Americans. We are the wealth of the world. And the tariffs and the threats of losing this economy to these other countries was unacceptable. We'll do anything you like, Mr. President. You just say the word. And we have a peace deal. Voila. The aftershock of it for me was watching the liberal media. Good Morning America this morning. Martha Raddatz, who's a Trump hater, and Robin Roberts. Robin Roberts tosses to Martha Raddatz, and she says, I just don't know what to tell you. This deal, there was no way this was ever going to be done. Everybody in the state, the covered state departments and done this forever. We just thought there's never going to happen in our lifetime. He's done it. And Robin Roberts is standing there with this look on her face like, oh, my God, is Martha Raddatz turning? Is her Trump derangement syndrome dying right here on screen? And she's flipping teams? They did it on Morning Joe where they discussed the Nobel Peace Prize. And Morning Joe himself said, well, they gave Obama one before he actually did anything. They could maybe give Trump one. I'm like, wait, what's happening here? All these people are saying Trump Nobel Peace Prize. In fact, so many of them on the left are saying it, I'm scared. I feel like it's a trap. I feel like they're going to come back and be able to say the next 3 years, while they criticize Trump about everything else, they'll say, hey, listen, I gave the guy props when he solved the Israel-Hamas thing. I'm no Trump hater. I gave him props, said he should win the Nobel Peace Prize. Is this a trap by the left? I don't know. But it's glorious to watch the things they're saying about our president, because he is all of our president, and the world's a better place today, at least for now, because of this peace accord. 913-408-7957 is the number to call if you'd like to join us on the show. I'd love to hear from you today. 913-408-7957. Never be afraid to call. Any topic you like is always good. That's what we do. We got an open format on this show. Bring it. If I don't know something, you can bring up a million things that I don't know anything about. I'm going to say, I'll defer to you. I don't know anything about that. So anytime you want to call, feel free. 913-408-7957. Uncanceled is underway on KCMO Talk Radio.
From Lenexa to Lee Summit, it's Kevin Kietzman, Uncanceled, on 95.7 FM KCMO Talk Radio.
You know, proving once again that the stock market is the most unpredictable thing ever. And you better find somebody that knows what they're doing. Don't try to guess it. We get this giant peace deal and the markets are just doing terrible today. It's like, God, I give up. I give up on trying to figure any of that stuff out. Maybe we got some help from some of our great callers. Let's start with Dan in Overland Park today on KCMO Talk Radio. Good morning, Dan. How are you?
Good morning, Kevin. I'm just fine, thank you. What I wanted to point out was that, yes, the federal government used to fund a lot of its operations by tariffs, but that preceded the enactment of the income tax. In the original Constitution, it forbade any level of government from taxing your income. That was changed by a constitutional amendment at the early part of the 20th century. So that's why, and then tariffs became less important after that. We have income tax now is because of a constitutional amendment. And if we don't no longer have income taxes, then we have to revoke the amendment that permitted their collection, because if you give the federal government income taxes and tariffs, then, heaven bar the door.
Well, we have income taxes and tariffs right now.
Well, I know we do, but if we don't, the reason that we have income taxes, period, is because of a constitutional amendment.
Right, in a law. We can pass a law to not have income taxes. The amendment has nothing to do with that. We can pass a law that there's no more taxes.
Well, we can pass a law, but
I appreciate the history lesson, but I have no idea where your call's going.
Well, just a point of information.
Oh, great. Okay. I appreciate I didn't know it was part of a constitutional amendment, so I learned something today. That's fantastic. I appreciate that. But as I stated in the previous segment, we've only had taxes for a little over 100 years, income taxes. Before that, it was all tariffs. That's probably why Democrats hate tariffs. Because they love your income tax and they love your property tax. They want to punish you for owning something in the United States of America. Dang you. What are you thinking owning a house? We don't want you to own a home. We don't want you to get married. We don't want you to go to church. And we don't want you to have children. We want to collect your taxes. We want you to work. That's it. That's what they want. That's what they want. They want to break down the traditional American family and structure of living. There's no other way to describe it. It is exactly what they want. Here is Mark and Shawnee on KCMO Talk Radio. Hi, Mark.
Hi, Kevin. Great monologue, great discussion. When I think about what you just said, it's kind of tough to keep up with you, Kevin, because you're hitting home runs everywhere. I'm running around like a fielder trying to catch a ball. It's tough because you're right on spot. And I think about, why is Trump having such great success? It's because he's a leader. He's had to work through things to try to figure out life on a scale that most politicians fail to understand. And what's really sad is I read an article about Obama today, and they talked about Obamacare. That's part of the reason Democrats don't want to sign that, because they need those government funds to keep that Obamacare up. And that was a policy that they put into place, and it changed the insurance. I can remember doctors quitting. We lost doctors. They said, we're not going to do this. That was a joke. And what is Trump doing? He's going around cleaning up these messes of people that are inept everywhere.
Yeah.
The border open. So Trump's got this immigration because of ineptness there. It's ineptness everywhere. We need some qualifications, Kevin.
We have tens of millions of people that vote in this country that don't pay attention to anything, but it is impossible to not pay attention to Donald Trump, and that is the best part of his presidency. The things that he's doing are literally reversing what the last president did for 4 years. It's showing an entire generation of new voters how to vote. That stuff didn't work. This stuff does. Forget the policy. Most people don't want to hear about the policy. They don't want to know about a clean CR in Congress. They don't care if the government shut down. They don't want any of that stuff. They just want to know what works. And more than anything else, Trump is showing everyone in this country what works after we watched for 4 years what doesn't work. And boy, didn't it. Here is Wes on KCMO. Good morning, Wes.
Well, you hit on the reason why the swamp and the mainstream media, which is one and the same, hate him because he's changing everything. No longer can you be your standard politician, which we've all seen for years, where you've got someone like a Karl Rove or another spin doctor telling you what you believe. Trump is out there every day talking to the press, telling you exactly what's going on. And last night, when
did you see him yesterday? He was meeting with those reporters about Antifa, and Marco Rubio walked up and whispered in his ear and handed him a note that said, "We're going to need you in a couple of minutes. This deal's almost done with Israel and Hamas." Right there in real time, live on television.
Yeah. Who has ever done that?
Never.
No one. What we got was, I remember when they were debating Obamacare, when Obama told John McCain, "I won the election and you didn't." Man, that's such a change. These people he's changing the presidency, just like you said. You cannot hide anymore.
Well done.
He's making it so all of these politicians, you can't hide. And
I'm with you. I got to stop you right there. We're right up against the break. But, man, great call. I appreciate that one. We got to hit the news at the bottom of the hour every time, so we got to do that. We come back. We're going to switch it up, talk a little pro football. The Chiefs got a big one on Sunday night. Lee Sterling from ParamountSports.com will be here in a weird year in the NFL where it looks like anybody can beat anybody.
From Overland Park to Parkville, it's Kevin Kietzman, Uncanceled, on 95.7 FM KCMO Talk Radio.
All right, let's talk a little football. It's been a wild start to the NFL season. Parity rules. Every team has a loss. I remember all through the years, the 72 Dolphins would gather and wait and see if there was an undefeated team, and it seemed like that was always in December or something. Man, they blew this thing out of the water early this year. Everybody's got a loss. The Ravens are 1-4. The Chiefs are 2-3. The Jaguars are 4-1. I can't make heads or tails of it. So we bring in Lee Sterling from ParamountSports.com, the Sultan of South Beach. Hello, Lee. How are you today?
I'm great, and I think part of the reason is these 72 Dolphins. They're up there in age. They can't stay up that late, to pop the champagne. So I actually walked in one time, went for dinner at, it was called Shula's, no longer exists, and Shula's Steakhouse in Miami Lakes, and Jim Mandich, who unfortunately is no longer with us, was there with Bob Greasy, Mercury Morris, another one, no longer with us, and they were watching the game, and as soon as the game was over, they popped the champagne. So very tough to do. We've seen some of the great teams. New England did it until the Super Bowl. The Chiefs have had their runs, but this year there's just too much parity. What we're seeing is there's a bunch of really good quarterbacks out there, and you lose players to injuries like so many teams have in a clusters, offensive line or defensive backfield. Teams are going to be able to take advantage of you.
So by recent Kansas City standards, the Chiefs are off to a terrible start, but they're only a game out of first place. This thing's a million miles from being over, and every team has a flaw. Like the Bills are really good, but their defense kind of stinks. And in Philadelphia, their offense can just disappear where they can't score on anyone. I mean, when you look at the best teams in the league, do you see anybody that's really, really good, or are they all flawed in some way?
I think they're all flawed. I mean, there's some really good teams and some talent on teams, but last year, Detroit, I thought they were the best team. What happened? They lost 8 of their top 11 defensive starters. You don't have a chance to compete in the playoffs when those kind of things happen, those cluster of injuries. So, it's you got to have talent, number one, and it's the battle of attrition.
No doubt. We're talking with Lee Sterling. His website is ParamountSports.com. I came away from Monday night. I'm a little different than most people in Kansas City. There's a lot of people pretty hot at the Chiefs here. I've been worried about the offense for 3 years. Right. You've watched this, but now the Chiefs' offense looks terrific again, and I thought it was great on Monday night. It was almost a statistical impossibility that they lost that game, but they did. I actually feel better about them than I did before the game because the Chargers aren't running away with the division, I don't think. What do you think of where the Chiefs are relative to the best teams around the NFL?
Oh, I think they have a good chance of winning it, as long as they stay healthy. The only thing that concerned me in the game, like I said, was the defense. I think the offense is going to be just fine. Maybe a top 3, top 4 unit in the NFL before it's all over if they stay healthy. It's the defense. They really didn't get much pressure unless they blitz, and their cornerbacks, other than their number one cornerback, were just, a few split seconds short of making plays. So that's the difference between, winning the division and maybe going to the Super Bowl and having to go on the road maybe in the playoffs and losing first round. So I don't know whether they were, it was fact of travel. That could be part of it, playing on a Monday night on the road. And Jacksonville certainly gave them their best shot, but I think they'll be fine.
All right, you live in South Florida, and Tyreek Hill plays there, and Tyreek Hill is still kind of a polarizing figure in Kansas City. Some people just love him as a player and don't care about what happens off the field. Some are like, well, we don't ever want him to play here again because of what he did off the field. And now that's resurfacing. I know he's hurt and he's out for the year. I was reading a story this week that there are Dolphins fans or some people that believe that the NFL maybe should ban him or suspend him for life at this point. I don't think the NFL is going to do anything like that. What kind of trouble is he in other than the injury? And will he ever play for the Dolphins again?
I mean, I don't think it's far-fetched to say that he's put his hands on women before and children, and there's just there's no, you can't do that in any world and be considered a good person. So it's crazy what we'll do. The NFL and some of these teams will do to get a talented player. Was he super talented? Absolutely, but he also, has some major pitfalls as a person, and he's in court, it seems like, every other week for something. So I don't think he's going to get, if he ever gets another suspension, it's going to be for very long. But he certainly, I think, has worn out his welcome here in Miami. Miami probably should have traded him before he got hurt.
Is there a feeling he's got these women that are coming after him for different assault charges and things of that nature, and his lawyers say, listen, it's nothing but smear campaigns. He's got a lot of money. They're coming after him. What do Dolphin fans think? Do they think, oh, yeah, these are probably true and he's going to have to pay up? Or do they think he's a victim here and these women are just coming after him?
Oh, I think that most people that have a good head on their shoulders realize that there's probably a lot of truth to it. So, obviously, some things, there's two sides to a story, but my father always told me, if you see a pattern and you see, 5, 6, 7 women coming after one person, probably this is not one of the best people you want to associate yourself with.
Lee Sterling's with ParamountSports.com. Jonathan Gannon, the head coach of the Arizona Cardinals, kind of put his hand on a player this week. His guy was running into the end zone and celebrated before he got there and dropped the ball, and they didn't score the touchdown. They wound up losing the game. The Cardinals fined their own coach $100,000.
Yeah.
I found that remarkable. I don't remember that ever happening. Is that a pretty good sign that a coach is going to get fired?
I don't think so. I think that they, unfortunately, times have changed in the world. If I did that in high school or college, my coaches would have had me running for probably hours or maybe days after it. So the whole world has changed. It's not like he hit the guy, so there's different ways, to handle different players. But unfortunately, the Cardinals need them. They've got so many injuries at running back. So, it is unfortunate. You don't like to see that happen. I actually thought that he crossed the line of scrimmage, so I thought it was pretty inconclusive for them to overrule that. But finding a coach $100,000, I thought might have been a little bit egregious.
Lee Sterling's with us, ParamountSports.com. He's a national handicap champion, and he has a service for folks if you want to get some odds, his picks for games, things like that. So he's kind enough. We're friends. We've known each other a long time to maybe give us a couple of picks here on some games this week. You ready to try to call a couple of these for us?
Sure.
All right. TCU's at K-State this week. K-State's maybe the hardest team to figure out there, and TCU's a 1.5-point favorite. What do you think about this college game?
Well, we're pretty sure there's going to be a high-scoring game. And if that's the case, let's look at the quarterbacks. Josh Hoover, quarterback for TCU, has a passing efficiency rating that ranks him 16th in the country. Avery Johnson for Kansas State, just 74th. And the Wildcats used to be really good. When they won, they would always cover, 65, 70% of the time. Not the case over the last 11 games, just 3-8 against the spread here. So TCU likes to pressure defenses by playing at a really fast tempo, and Kansas State struggles defense to get off the field. I like TCU, high-scoring game here, 38-34.
KU takes on Texas Tech, which may be the best team in the Big 12. We'll find out over time. This is a 14.5-point line.
Yeah, and they're just begging you to play Kansas. And Kansas does have a good offense. They can move the ball with big chunk plays, but problem here is Texas Tech's defense is really good. Used to be horrible. What did they do? They shored up the defensive line. 4 NIL transfers, and they create a lot of havoc, this front four. They dominated Utah on the road here. Kansas, I think, got a lucky break last week when the UCF starting quarterback, Tavon Jackson, left the game. UCF was up by 14 points here, so that, I thought, changed the game. The backups for UCF are just not at the highest level here. So Texas Tech, the offense, just as good as it's always been. They have 2 capable starting quarterbacks. And like I said, that defense allowing not 4.17 yards per pass play, 4.17 yards per snap here. They are shutting people down and winning games by over 37 points per game. I like Tech here, big, 45-20.
The game of the year so far in these parts is Alabama at Mizzou. Columbia is going to be wild Saturday morning at 11 o'clock. Alabama's favored by 3. Missouri's never beaten Alabama in the SEC. Is this the time that ends?
If there's ever a chance, this would be it. I mean, they're looking for revenge for last year's 34-0 whitewash, where Cook, their quarterback, had to play basically on one leg. It was embarrassing watching that team try to compete. Now, the quarterback, Bo Prubella, dual-threat quarterback, just like who Alabama faced last weekend, Diego Pavia. What makes Missouri different here is they have a running attack, and the best runner in the country, Ahmad Hardy, the transfer from Louisiana Monroe. He's leading the nation with 730 rushing yards. The last 2 weeks when Alabama played at a high level, They had to go to Georgia and also come and face Vanderbilt in game day and face running backs. Don't even have half that total here. I'm going to say that Tide won't roll. I like Missouri. Wrong team favored. 34-30. They finally get the job done.
Nice. And the Chiefs on Sunday Night Football, Vegas liked what they saw on Monday night because they've made the Chiefs a 2.5-point favorite. There's a lot of people here that don't understand that. Chiefs are favored by 2.5 over the Lions. What say you?
Yeah, I would agree with you. Let's look at the coaching job Dan Campbell's done. He's 11-2 as an underdog. 21. He's covered 21 of the last 25 road games. Lions' third straight year starting 4-1 or better. And they do have some injury concerns here. Cornerback Terrion Arnold ruled out. Christian Fulton, game time decision here. But, this is a team over the last 5 years. They've gone 51, 21, and 1. Best 5-year periods were 2003 to 2007 Patriots, 99 to 03 Eagles. Both went 66.2 against the spread here. Going against this team here, going to be a tough out here. They have so many weapons. They go too deep at running back. They have maybe the best receiving combo, one of the best tight ends, and the defense, other than cornerback, they put pressure on the cornerback. Hate to say it, but I think Detroit wins in the shootout here, 34-30.
Lee Sterling, ParamountSports.com. What will folks see if they visit your website, Lee?
Okay, just go to the website, ParamountSports.com. Had an incredible run in the NFL. We've gone 4-0, 5-0, and 4-0 each of the last 3 weeks. Even had a great college Saturday, went 6-1, 11-1 weekend last weekend. So they want to hop on board. Check out all the specials. Just one place, ParamountSports.com.
Thank you, buddy. Have a great weekend. Look forward to chatting with you soon.
You too. Thanks, Kevin.
Take care. He is Lee Sterling, the Sultan of South Beach. ParamountSports.com is the place to go check it all out. We come back. Mark Van Sickle. Oh, we got a lot to talk about here, including Eli Drinkwitz. I don't know if our audience knows exactly what he did yesterday and what's coming up on Saturday. We got big news with Eli Drinkwitz and Mark Van Sickle next on Uncanceled. Uncanceled is brought to you by BestOfferKC.com, helping you leave the hassle behind. When I say they're compassionate folks that understand your situation, there's nothing more touching than a situation where you're selling a home while somebody's losing a loved one. It really takes people that care to be involved in a situation like that. A daughter called BestOfferKC.com and said, my dad's very ill and he's got a dying wish. He wants to sell this house before he dies and see that me and my sister split the money down the middle and it's all taken care of. We need to move it quickly. He's getting ill. Then he got sicker and there was 24 to 36 hours to go and they got this thing closed and done. They have their own title department and everything at Best Offer KC. They can handle everything in-house at Best Offer KC, and that makes them different. And they care about your situation to make the sale of the home perfect for you and where you need to go next. 816-338-SOLD is the number to call for bestofferkc.com, helping you leave the hassle behind.
Hey, it's Vince Coglianese. Catch my new show at 11 o'clock after Kevin Kietzman on 95.7 FM KCMO Talk Radio.
Thank you, Vince. Will do, for sure. The Vince Show coming right up. We got Mark Van Sickle right now. Oh, boy, do we got a little tilt tomorrow night. We got a 2-soda pop bet on the Mariners-Tigers series, and it's gone to Game 5, and I have the best pitcher in baseball starting for the Tigers. How you feeling, buddy?
I'm feeling good because the Mariners are 3-0 against the Tigers when Tarek Skubal starts this year, including Game 2 in this series in Seattle.
We've only really known each other well for like the last 10 months. I've known you for a few years, but we've gotten to know each other much better. I just have one question for you.
Yeah.
Have you ever gone into any game with your team and not felt good about it?
There's been a few times.
Which team? Which game?
Whenever the Chiefs play the Bills in the regular season, I always feel they're going to blow it somehow. And then I know that they're going to win it in the postseason, though, so it's not a huge deal to me. But, yeah, usually the Chiefs against the Bills in the regular season.
Has KU ever played a basketball game you didn't feel good about?
There's been a few times.
Really?
Yeah, there's been a few
Would
times.
you say it outwardly?
I've said it outwardly, especially last year when they just, there's been some injury things that have happened. It's just, you know.
I so need more of you in me. I just need some of that.
Yeah.
I got to have the optimism. It's just so tasty and delicious. All right, so you're going with the Mariners. Do we want to I mean, if I win it, it's 2 sodas. If you win, it's a push.
Mm-hmm.
Then what do we do? If we have a push, I guess we just have to move on, huh?
Yeah, that's true. Then are you taking the J? I guess we'll get to it when we get there.
Right, we'll get there. They look pretty good. Toronto looks pretty good.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I got other folks here at Cumulus now tracking me down in the hallway wanting to bet soda pops with me. So there must be a lot of people in the building listening.
Yeah.
I'm taking the Chiefs Sunday night for anybody that wants any of that. Let's go. I'll bet you a drink on that.
Mm-hmm.
Not a worry at all. Eli Drinkwitz has had as big a week this week off the field as on the field. We love this guy. He's such a character. Did you see what he did with the conference call yesterday?
I missed it.
So they do a conference call in the SEC where the coaches are literally just on the phone and reporters ask questions. So he does his and he stays on the line. And he waits. And then Kalen DeBoer, the Alabama coach, goes and he cuts in as the second question. He says, hey, coach, I'm just wondering, this is Eli. I'm just wondering if you're wearing the black hoodie of death this week over on the sideline. That's what he asked him. Alabama's coach wears a black hoodie. He calls it the black hoodie of death. So apparently they lost their first game, and he's been wearing a black hoodie since then, and they've won all their games.
Okay.
And Missouri is wearing all black on Saturday because they thought it would take DeBoer out of his black hoodie. And they had fun, and then I later learned that many members of his staff are friends with members of Alabama's staff. They go way back. They used to work together and everything else.
Okay.
Eli Drinkwitz will do anything, man.
He's pretty funny.
He is closing his weight room on Friday from everyone so Tim Tebow can have a private workout in there. Tebow's coming in, I guess, to cover the game.
Oh, yeah.
Or something.
For the
so
SEC, yeah.
Closed. And there are all kinds of other people with the networks and stuff are like, hey, wait, we want to work out too. Nope. He's got a special sign, Tim Tebow only. He gets a private workout in the weight room.
It's nice of him.
Who does that? Eli Drinkwitz is something else. I thought this was right in your wheelhouse. Did you see the NCAA is going to allow athletes to bet on sports now as long as they don't bet on college sports?
Okay, so a college athlete can bet on the Chiefs-Lions game.
That's correct.
Essentially. Okay.
That's correct. So literally, if you were, let's say, Patrick Mahomes' brother and you were the quarterback at Mizzou, you could bet on the Chiefs. But you can't bet on Mizzou.
I don't hate that idea, but I still think kids are going to get mixed up in it.
I don't hate it either because I think what they've come to is the reality that they're doing it anyway, and there is no way to stop this. You can't tap their phones.
Yeah.
Any kid that's playing college sports that really wants to put $50 on a pro football game has a friend in his frat house or whatever that has an app, and he can go to him and say, you place the bet, and you can use a buddy like a bookie. Mm-hmm. Nobody's going to get arrested for any of that. The cat's out of the bag here. It's no different than drinking alcohol or smoking cigarettes. It's just on. It's going to be legal in Missouri, one of the last places to do it. But I really don't have a problem with that. But I think the NCAA always likes the easy way out. I think what they're saying is we don't want to police this anymore.
Yeah.
We don't have to be responsible for anything that's going on anywhere.
Hopefully they can do it responsibly.
Yeah, they just don't want anyone part of that. Did you know that Kay Barnes is the niece of Walter Cronkite?
No.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
Her dad was Cronkite's brother, apparently. They're distant cousins of the George Bushes, and she married a guy named Waldo. She's Kay Waldo Barnes. That's Waldo, the Waldo area. The Waldo family from somewhere around here are long-distant relatives of John Adams and John Quincy Adams.
So she comes from a very Very popular family.
Like, I guess I'm believing all this. I don't know. I read it all. It must be there. I kind of want to get her on and ask her all these things.
Might as well.
I wonder
Think
if we
she'll
can
come on tomorrow?
Kay Barnes, it's been a while since we've chatted. We worked very hard together to get that arena built, man. I worked right in lockstep with her. And she's a very interesting, trustworthy, kind, smart person. Period. She was a great mayor for Kansas City. And I want to know if all those things are true about Kay Barnes. Inquiring minds want to know right here on Uncanceled. The Vince Show is up next. Thanks for listening to KCMO Talk Radio.